You are watching me right now because you, like everyone else, are trying to make sense of the US housing market. For example, you hear that home prices are near all-time highs, but you also hear that the number of people buying homes is at a 30-year low. How can prices be high if no one is buying? You hear that we have a massive housing shortage, but you also hear that 37% of landlords are now offering free rent and other giveaways just to get tenants in the door. How can we have a shortage if landlords are desperate finding people to rent their houses? You hear that the American dream is to own a home, but the average age of a first-time homebuyer has now hit a record high of 40 years old. These facts all seem to be in direct conflict. And this confusion leads people to one of two conclusions. Either the market is just broken or it's a bubble that's about to pop. So in this video, I'm going to present a very different case. I will argue that this isn't a bubble. It's a fundamental reset of the entire housing market. And I will prove to you that these conflicting facts are not signs of a crash, but are in fact the evidence that a new higher floor for prices has been permanently set. Let's look at the fact. Exhibit A, the core problem, the reason for the reset. And this first fact is the simplest. We just don't have enough homes, period. For the last 2 decades, we have not built enough homes for the number of people that we have in the country. Experts agree that we are short by millions of homes. Some say 3.8 million, some say 5.5 million. This is the most important fact of this case. This shortage is what has reset the entire market. It has created a new higher bottom, a new floor for prices. It's not going any lower. Everything else I'll discuss in this video all stems from this one simple truth, and it's not complicated. It is simple: supply and demand. Exhibit B, the deep freeze, the proof of the new floor. And it starts with this question here. If prices are high, why are sales at a 30-year low? The other side is going to tell you that this is a lack of demand, and that is wrong. This is a catastrophic lack of supply, and it's caused by something called the lock-in effect. You've probably heard of it by now. But what it means is millions of your neighbors bought or refinanced their homes a few years ago at 2%, 3%, or 4% interest rates. Today's rates are in the low 6% range. These people are now locked into their homes. They are wearing golden handcuffs. They cannot sell, because if they do, they would have to buy their next home at a much higher rate. Their monthly payment would double for essentially the same house. So they don't sell. This has frozen the market. Only 2.8% of all homes in America are changing hands. 2%. This has strangled the supply of homes for sale. And this is the evidence that proves the reset. It proves the new floor is real. Why? Well, because prices are not crashing. They have gone flat year over year. That isn't a crash, that is a floor holding steady, a floor holding strong. This is the tale of two cities. The price is no longer set by typical families. It is set by the few cash-rich buyers who can still afford to buy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has reset the new bottom for everyone else. Exhibit C, the rental mirage. The other side will argue, if everyone is locked out of buying, then the rental market should be exploding. Why are 37% of landlords offering concessions? Well, this is the most misleading fact of all. It is a temporary illusion, a mirage. Here's what's happened. In response to high rents a few years ago, builders started a massive number of new apartment projects. And in 2024, they all finished at the same time. In 2024, we saw the most new apartments built in any single year since 1974. This created a temporary deluge of new units in specific cities. Landlords had to compete, so they offered 1 month of free rent. But here is the exhibit that changes everything. That deluge is over. The pipeline for new apartment construction has plummeted. Once these new empty units are filled, and they will be, there are no more coming. The underlying shortage will be exposed. This renter's market is a temporary mirage, and it is already scheduled to disappear. When it does, rents will climb again. Exhibit D, the missing people. This brings us to the central question. Where are all the people? Where are they living? Where'd they go? If they can't buy and the rental market is about to get tight again, where is all that pent-up demand? I submit to you that the demand has not vanished. It has been compressed. It is hiding in plain sight, and it is what will support the new floor. Fact number one, they are living with their parents. Today, 57% of all young adults aged 18 to 24 are living at home. Fact number two, they are doubling up. The number of adults living with roommates is soaring, creating a renaissance of communal living. Fact number three, they are sandwiching together. 17% of all homes purchased last year were for multi-generational families. This is not a market with no demand. This is a market with 1.6 million missing households. They are being pressed down like a spring. Now, for a long time, that's been a contrarian view, but as I've been saying here for a while now, that spring was bound to uncoil, and we are already seeing it happen much faster than we thought. As mortgage rates have eased this fall, new home sales recently surged 20% in a single month. That is the pent-up demand I've been talking about, finally re-entering the market. Then there are the accelerants. So we have a market that has reset to a new high floor. We have a for sale side that is frozen. We have a rental side that is a temporary mirage, and we have millions of people compressed into shared living. Now let's add the final three pieces of evidence. First, there's inflation. Let's assume the government continues to cut rates to get the economy moving. This does three things all at once. First, it makes hard assets like houses more valuable. Prices go up. It makes rents go up. And most importantly, it devalues your debt. The mortgage you lock in today is paid back with cheaper inflated dollars tomorrow. It is a wealth building cheat code. Second, the other buyer. You are not just competing with other families now. A new powerful buyer has entered the market. And I know what you might be thinking, but it's not Wall Street. That's a myth, and a big one. What most people don't realize is that institutional investors actually own less than 2% of all the homes out there. The real competitor is an army of mom and pop investors, small professional buyers who own 1 to 10 homes. They see all the same facts that we just discussed. They know rents are about to rise, so they are buying. And what are they buying? They are targeting the exact same entry-level starter homes that first-time buyers are trying to get. And third, this is a big one. The supply faucet is shut off. Because you might be thinking, but wait, if there's so much demand, builders will just build more homes. That's how a market works. Supply is going to catch up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final crucial piece of this case. The builders cannot catch up. The supply of new homes is not coming. I mean, we just discussed how the pipeline for apartments is plummeting, but it's true for single family homes too. Why? Because even with record high prices, builders are struggling. Their confidence is low. The costs for materials, labor, and land are just simply too high. They cannot build a small, affordable starter home and make a profit. So they don't. And they won't. They build large, expensive homes for the wealthy, and they are. The very supply we would need to fix the shortage and lower the new floor, it's not being built. The faucet is shut off. So the evidence here, it's indisputable, and it shows the housing market has gone through a fundamental reset. It has found a new high floor. That floor, it's supported by a structural shortage of millions of homes. Pent-up demand from 1.6 million missing households. Compressed demand from millions living with parents and in multi-generational homes. Spillover demand from the rental market, which is about to tighten. Professional demand from an army of cash-ready investors. And finally, a builder pipeline that is shut off with no new affordable supply on the way. Every single force, every piece of evidence is pointing in the same direction. And now even the US Treasury is acknowledging this new reality, officially calling it a housing recession. You know, there's a saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. What I have shown you today is that all indicators are pointing to a rising tide. So regardless of how difficult or how much of a struggle it may be to get your own boat in the water right now, I submit to you, the evidence is clear. It behooves you to do so by any means necessary. I've presented the facts as I see them. But in this court, you are the jury. You have heard the testimony of the market. So I have one final question for you. What is your verdict? Do you find the case for a great reset proven? Or do you see a reasonable doubt that I've missed? Go to the jury box, the comment section below, and render your verdict. I'll be reading them all. But as you weigh all the evidence that we've presented here today, there's one more piece of the puzzle that we haven't discussed. What happens when the government, seeing this exact same crisis, decides to step in and declare a national housing emergency to fix it? Because the solutions being proposed might be the biggest accelerant of all. And that's exactly what I'm looking at in this video right here. It turns out that the official fix for affordability might be to repeat the very same mistakes that caused the 2008 crash. It's an unbelievable plan, and you need to see exactly what's in it.